So hello everyone. This video is quite expected by my students, especially those who have just got their attention towards what is sociology, and they have started their career into this new particular subject from higher education during their 11 12 grades. So this is the second topic from CBSE syllabus, and this is also of course within the gamut of CISE syllabus as well. But thereafter, this is a very demanded video, because I don't know whether there will be views or likes, or people will see it, or people will be subscribing my channel or not, because genuinely my previous channels were also for my students, which actually crossed quite a lengthier limit of subscribers, because I used to also give book reviews there. But this particular channel is specially attend to the questions and queries that my student raises from the social science subjects that I teach, especially like sociology, which is my master subject, and thereafter my development studies, my human rights, gender studies, and urban economics, rural sociology, and all these balances. But this will be a very very close look towards the topic of what we call socialization all about. Now previously I talked about introducing the sociology. I talked about the primary socializing agents like family, education, occupation, and the other agencies that we have, government and everything. Now here I'll talk about culture and socialization. This is very, very important. Culture and socialization I will be talking about. And I thought that why not talking about this makes more clearer when it becomes like an answer way to you to write for your paper. You will get most of the thing that I have thought about this time is that all the topics that I will be discussing here in YouTube, I will be providing the PPTs in the SlideShare. I'm a member of SlideShare, so thereafter I will be uploading the PPTs over there at SlideShare, where you will get a total answer format of these particular questions. Okay. So if I ask you culture and socialization, this concept is something that shapes the behavior of a human being, because as we know that socialization is also imbibed upon us, and culture is what is adaptive, the environment that we are born to. So while we define the culture, we talk about the shared beliefs, the values, the customs, the patterns, the ways of standard of living and life, and the food, clothing, starting from believing the norms and values of a particular society. So thereafter we know that as religion is also a socializing institution, thereafter we have customs and practices based on religion. We have customs and practices based on our classes as well. So these are some of the basic understanding of what we call culture. Now you have to understand the key factors that leads this connotation of culture to socialize, and that's how you will be gaining marks into sociology, to provide the points of how the learned culture of socialization acquire primarily within the environment that we reside in. So we can say that it's a learned behavior. That means the family, the media, the education, the interaction that we have with neighborhood, everything, our environment is creating the learned behavior of ourselves. So what we are doing is our behavior is controlled by the environmental impacts that we are adapting. Thereafter, it's also symbolic in nature. Why it's symbolic? Because our communication way, our expression, our emotional upsurges are also the symbolic attention of what culture and what socialization I'm adapting to. Maybe I'm being raised in a very happy family, maybe I'm being raised in a very abusive family, so thereafter my inclination of socialization has been formed in such way that it has a dynamic adaptation thereafter. Now we all know that India, especially India, being unity in diversity because of language, because of races, because of territorial or topographical differences, because of various caste and class, which is unique to Hindu society, caste system, and also because of various religion resides very, very tolerantly, very secularly in our society, and languages. There are innumerable languages we are in heritage of. So thereafter our diversity, and thereafter the entire world with the diversity. Communities comes into action when we make the culture global. This word is very important. We generally don't come up with this word global because this is a recent denomination of the word global and local. Globalization, when we used to say that we are interconnecting with the people, like for example, if you would have seen the initial stages of Facebook, the Facebook logo was like people are connecting from here to there, the world is connected like this, it's globally connected. Globalization means that your local is near and your distance is your local is distant and your distance is near. So that is what globalization talks about. Now we talk it global. What is happening in global area, it's also happening in local area, and what is happening in local area is also happening in global area. Now what about the socialization when we are learning and internalizing those behaviors into our own behavior? We primarily tend to look after the agents of socialization like family, peers, and then media, education, government. Crucially, our identity gets developed within the environmental adaptation. Our primary and secondary socialization, especially within the family and educational genres, are creating the broader influences to get into the broader world, into the work, and also to be more internalizing towards them. Our cultural transmission, how we are transmitting, whether we are becoming communalist or whether we are becoming so secular enough, whether we are getting communal towards the people, where we are creating the balance of our happenings to be hostile, or rather we are getting tolerant towards the other diverse religion or sects or culture or gender or anything that sort. If we talk about gender, LGBTQIA community faced a lot of turbulences till now they are facing, but how much tolerant we become towards that. So these are all cultural transmission that we are slowly adapting and understanding the behavioral changes that are taking place in society, because the modernization concept or dependence theory concept comes up with the fact that you will be emerging into the world where you have to be adaptive. You cannot imitate the thing anymore. You need to have the imitation and you have to connotate and enumerate it according to your own behavioral pattern. So that is known as reciprocal relationships. So how we are reciprocating with the diversity, and that makes the variation into the socialization process, because that creates the perpetual cultural patterns that we behave, and also that we whether we are forgiving someone or whether we are going for a retaliation. So whether you will be giving someone a reward or a punishment, the sanctions, emotional sanctions, if you talk about, like I have broken up with my boyfriend, or I have broken up with my husband, or whether I will be taking revenge against him, or whether I will be tolerant towards him, thinking that what are the differences that created this bad memories now, because once it was good, that's the reason, like unity of opposites, and then the class struggle. As far as Karl Marx is concerned, that employer employees are always, actually every relation is something that sort, right? We tend to provide our best and we become good into the relationship, and there where we start understanding what are the differences, what are the exploitations are going on, and then we become hostile and or we go rebellious. So now there are certain theories of, now we don't in general in class 11 and 12 we generally don't talk about much theories of cultural socialization, culture and socialization, but especially nowadays when sociology is such a balance of subject where you have to have critique and critique, CRITIC, CRITIQ, UE, any social subject, because the conclusion is always, you have to know that the conclusion is not universal. You will be having an interpretative understanding, what we call diversity hen by Max Weber. Thereafter, there are also theories related to cultural functionalism, or what we call cultural behavior towards socialization. Like, for example, the structural functionalists, just now I talked about, like Emily Durkheim, Talcott Parsons, as well as Robert K. Martin. Emily Durkheim's concept of division of labor or suicide, or when he was very much influenced by C. Wright Mill's concept of sociological imagination, like how private and public life are mitigated, and also Talcott Parsons' concept of various patterns and variable patterns, and the agile model and everything. Robert K. Martin talked about the American society where goals and means are to be made, and how we talked about conformity, innovation, retreatism, rebelliousness, and the 5 points that are there. So these all views the stability and orders of the culture to be smoother enough, and of course the conflict theory, which got everything into the niche, that is the Karl Marx and Max Weber. Now, sometimes my students say, ma'am, sometimes you say Weber is a functionalist and sometimes you say Weber is a conflict theorist as well. Yes, because Weber is such a person who actually introduced the middle class, because during the time of capitalism or communism, we only had two classes, upper class and lower class, bourgeois and proletariat. But thereafter, he brought into profession class, like we, being the professionals, we do white collar job and the labor class do blue collar job. So this kind of conflict is coming, and thereafter there is a very important question. This is mainly for the student of honors paper I will be talking about. There will be a question which will always be coming, no matter age immemorial. That is, what is the difference between the concept of the social revolution that brings social change by Karl Marx and social evolution that brings change to the society by Max Weber? Because socialization here with the concept of culture also talks about that sometimes we change the society through rebel, which is conflict, and sometimes with evolving, like a particular human body evolves, Symbolic interactionism, you have Mead and Goffman to talk about and focusing about socialization, which are interpreting the symbols and shaping the self-concept, like ego, superego. When we come to understand what is my, what is mine, what is we, what is us, what is you, what is thy or thou thereafter. So social learning theory, this social learning theory is very newly added to the topic, not for very commoners of 11-12 students of any board, whether it's CISC, CBSE or Cambridge board, or for that matter NIOS. No, it's not for them, but this has been added recently. That is the social learning theory by Albert Bandura, where he talked about the learned process of crucial rule that we adopt and discard. Like, for example, I have been told that whenever you see an elder, out of respect you touch their feet. Now I know a person, for instance, this is just an exemplifying point. Now when I see the person, I think that I don't at all like that person, but he's very elderly person, and I have to, my mother is sitting, my father is sitting, my grandparents are sitting, so I have to touch his feet. But I'm just in total ignorance of that particular person's behavior, because I will be knowing, even if I touch his feet, he won't even put the hand on my head to give me some blessings. He's such a person. Now, this kind of socialization behavior, we try to adapt and we discard from our mind. So this is where the role strain and role conflict comes, and the cultural transmission theory also germinate. Cultural transmission theory, this is also a new topic that got added. Cultural transmission theory, like Margaret Mead, Benedict, as well as Bose has talked about, Franz Bose has talked about, where we observe the process of imitation, where we observe the process of storytelling. Now see, you will see that after watching a movie, sometimes you feel that you're talking like the heroine of that movie, or rather when I watch a particular movie where the it's a very women centric movie might be, so I feel like, oh my god, I became like the bunk type, or rather the movie held the woman to be a police officer, so I feel like, oh my god, why don't I have a gun? I should have carrying a gun here, and I should have do like this, so it happens. See, these are imageries. Like for example, if when we teach our children, or like when I teach my son, what I say that, Babu, this is parrot, Babu, this is ship, and I show him the pictures. Now what we do, apart from only studying, if we have a pictorial representation in ourselves. Now when I say parrot, you have the imagery in yourself, right? Just like that, observation and imitation often transmit to ourself, and that's the reason why pictorial interpretation is so very important. And for the CBSE student, I'll say, because you all have pictorial representations to interpret in your work, please do also take care of those parts of your subject. And definitely the socialization and cultural socialization cannot be obliterated without saying about Jean Piaget or Freud for that matter. So Piaget talked about the cognitive development theory, where the process shapes a particular individual's interpretation, how we interpret. I might interpret this cup of tea to be my boosting power of energy at some around 1:20 a.m. at night. But sometimes this can be for someone detrimental, because he says that you sleep at night, it will be giving you a beautiful sleep, and you wake up in the early morning and then do your work. Sometimes I wake up at early morning, sometimes I don't even sleep. So now see, our body is a machine, of course. All the parts, organs are machines. But what about our mind? What about our thoughts, our feelings? Are they also can be monitored like the psychiatric medicines, which increases the dopamine, the happy hormone in yourself? Does that really work? Can you feed any medicine to a boy or to a girl to love yourself? I mean, if you love someone, a boy maybe, or rather if I fantasize that I want to marry someone from a Bollywood genre, and I go and give him the medicine and he starts loving me. It doesn't happen so, right? Like all these things, like the supernatural things, superficial, all those things that we do, like, like Vashikaran mantra and all those, I don't know what the superficial things are there, but these kind of things, if this would have really happened, then the first people who are at target is to remove our ruling parties, to remove the particular party who is having such a charismatic authority. So all these people would have been removed first if this superficialness actually would have been empirical in nature. But it is not so. These are all interpretation of the environment that we are reasoning upon. We are giving a reason. I'm wearing this crystal. This is what I don't know. Maybe rose quarters, maybe this. These are all fake. I don't even know whether these are fake or not, but this is some kind of good looking thing that I like to wear, and like to just turn around my hand like this. So it makes me feel that, oh, something is there in my hand. These are the beads. I loved this. When I was in class 11, just I'm teaching the paper of class 11. When I was in 11, and the fourth time when my eyes got operated, I bought this from Chennai. A beach, the Chennai beach, because I was being operated at Shankar Nethralaya. So that is still there with me, and I feel these are my lucky beads. You might be, I don't know whether I have those pictures anymore with me or not, but at every educational exams, or maybe for official exams, I used to wear this because I had a belief in this. This is kind of the process of interpretation. But what about the postmodernists who talk about the diverse experiences? Like, for example, you see, I always tell this, we all believe in omnipower, omnipresent. The people who are atheist, even, like if someone is atheist who doesn't believe in theism, he is also actually believing in something that is atheism. So atheism is itself a kind of omnipower that he or she is himself believing in. So if you see that if I believe in Lord Shiva, Narayan, Lakshmi Mata, Saraswati, whom I have, I just pray Saraswati like my own mother. Now, what about when Ukraine was attacked by Russia? Where was Lord Shiva? He was not supporting those people who turned from 7,000 to 700 into 1 week, and those people died. What about Gaza? What about Afghanistan being taken over by Taliban? Yes, where were our Hindu gods there? And when even Hindus were being killed, when in Ukraine a Hindu boy was shot dead because he was trying to get the food, he was Hindu himself. Now, where was Lord Shiva then? The Muslims who are dying in Gaza, the women in Syria, the perilous conditions, where is Muhammad Prophet actually helping them? Where is our Jesus, who actually is a pillar of someone who was undergone a perilous plethora of death? And that's the reason he became God, because he could channelize the pain in himself, and he said that you forgive. So the thing that we can say is that forgetfulness and forgiveness is better than retaliation. So if anything is God in life, that is your sense of tolerance, your sense of avoiding retaliation and bringing up the adaptation towards the society. And that makes the culture and socialization so very vibrant with our new days life, even in the memories and all those, the war that we have seen, the revolutions that we have seen, and still now the conflicts, the defenses that are dying. I'm talking so boldly here. Maybe some of my brothers, some of my sisters are at the border, and they are fighting in this cold. No matter what we are getting by providing the innumerable revenue, innumerable production process into the defense, we are getting the bodies. Either I'm getting a body of someone who is trying to kill me, or he is getting a body of mine who is trying to protect my country. So ultimately we are getting revenue as what? The dead bodies, the devastation. But we need defense, because people won't germinate the feeling of tolerance. They will always have a retaliation and a concept of marginalization, because that is how the society can run. If I don't marginalize, if I don't see that you are minority, if I don't keep you minority, I won't be at a position where I can call myself to be a circulation of elite. So that is what cultural socialization all about. I would suggest people from sociology honors to include postmodern theorists, cognitive development theory, and also cultural transmission theory and social learning theory to your understanding. And for the 11-12 students, please, if you can write and you can remember this, these will come up in I will be the way I explained it, I will write it down in a PPT format, and you will get that in the slide share. I'll share the slide share link in my academia.edu profile, or maybe in my teacher on profile. Okay, so you can get that from there as well. That's all. Thank you so much. I hope I could have made some difference to your understanding of what is actually tolerance and what is actually social life and what is actually socialization. If you really need to be understanding socialization, you need to understand that if you don't want to respect someone, you need not to also disrespect that person, because in the vacancy also there is a feeling, there is a feeling means not F-E-L-I-N-G. I'm talking about feeling, F-I-L-L-I-N-G. In a vacancy, in a vacant place, there is also a feeling. That's the air is feeling it, you know. So there is no, that's the reason we always say fill in the blanks, because blanks cannot be left alone. There cannot be loopholes. You always need to seal the holes. And that's the reason why we are connected, we are interrelated, we are interdependent, and we need to be both functional, conflict and critical at the same time, so that we can run the society and no one gets denied of their basic necessary prerequisite, and they can also choose their leisure. Communism actually had this meaning, you know. Capitalism only took away their life for the production process to enhance the automation, but capitalism actually wanted to say that capitalism was the automation. Communism actually wanted to say that not only we need a necessary prerequisite like food, shelter and clothing, I can also have a choice of buying a pen which is maybe of 10 rupees. If I want, I can buy a pen which I liked, which is 40 rupees also. So that choice can also be given to me, and I can have that luxury to life. So always basic necessity is not enough. We also need to choose our leisure. We also need to choose our, choices as well. That's all. Thank you so much for listening. If you really like this video, please share my channel. Please subscribe my channel. Please subscribe my channel. Share my videos more and more. Thank you so much. Thank you.